welcome to Searching for Wisdom Within the Madness. Hello, greetings, I am Darren Bodecker. Yes, I am Darren Bodecker, welcome. We are going on a journey through madness to find, what is it? Wisdom and the funny. We want to find the funny. Where is the funny in any of it? Where is the funny? If you can talk about the now and be funny about it, that's the best thing. So we'll talk about the now. But on today's show, welcome, hi, okay. So anyways, yeah, let's turn it down. Okay, that's my technical difficulties. All right, so on today's show, I have a guy named Ken Barnard. So you probably saw the description. You probably already know him. As a matter of fact, I shouldn't even say who's on the show right now. There's pictures out there, and you had to read it. Anyways, let's just get to it. Why play? And let's add him into the show. And here he comes. His name is Ken Barnard. Not Chloe. It's Ken.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Ken Barnard.
I'm just gonna drink.
I'll keep talking then, and you straighten that out. Here, I just want to say, I remember meeting you a long time ago, in the 2000s, early 2000s, right?
Yes, sir. 2001 or 2, most likely.
2002. Okay, so let's go back to maybe 7-8 months before we ever met. What exactly, how did you get alerted to 9/11? Like, how did you find out? What was your origin story there?
Oh, well, you mean the first 9/11?
So September 9/11. So not this 9/11 that's just passed a couple of days ago.
Okay, yeah, that one was pretty chill, honestly.
The 19th one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. You know, the thing about it is we're moving so fast a pace with news. The news of 9/11 is it just isn't it's not like the fireworks it used to be. You know, it started off as a huge bottle rocket in the sky, and now it's whittled itself down to, oh yeah, right, those guys. And then you're on to, oh shit, what did he do this time? Or, oh no, oh no, how did he take away that regulation? Now my water tastes terrible. What's going on? I'm drinking lead now. Why? Trump. But my toilet's working fantastic, and the shower's going like crazy, but it's a lot of lead. You know?
Does the lead make the toilet run faster?
No, I would think that Donald Trump would fix it in a way that we just have really fast water in all of our houses, but he wouldn't give a fuck about what type of water was coming in. Just as long as it, you know, I was talking about the toilets moving fast and the showers not having enough pressure.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If this is an anti-Trump thing,
No!
I bid you good day.
No. You're right. Okay. So, the very
9/11.
first one, how are you go?
I was 18 years old. I had just started college at the George Washington University in Washington, D.C. So it was an interesting time considering there were attacks in that area. But yeah, it was probably 2 or 3 weeks into school, and had an early class.
What time?
Probably like 8 or 9.
And that
went through fine. And I think the teacher or the professor knew the news during. He kind of pulled a George W. Bush, like the TA told him hey, there's some going down, and he just kept going through the lesson. Nobody kind of realized what was actually happening.
So you had a class probably at around, what'd you say, 8:25? You said?
Yeah, about 8:30. I mean, I was a freshman, so I had all the early birds.
So just to go over the details, this thing hits on the time zone you're at right around 8:57, and then 8:05. Is that right? Or 8:09? Right in the I can't remember the god dang numbers, but am I close?
Yeah, I mean, it's happening in the morning. And the interesting thing about at least where the campus is located, it's really close to the White House. So we learned this later, but our campus was like the target for if you want to hit the old executive office building and the White House. Like if you're trying to triangulate like a nice explosion.
You were in the middle of a bullseye, actually? Is there a big red thing on top of it? Were you learning class right next to an actual target?
I mean, at that time I was a freshman in college, so I was just, looking out at the skies,
Yeah,
optimistic.
you never thought that could happen.
Yeah.
There was no.
It was a wild day. I mean, it was pretty much a blur, trying everybody, not a lot of people had cell phones. I didn't. So everybody trying to call home on a landline.
So let's go a little bit slower.
Oh, okay.
So you're in class. Teacher says what to then all of a sudden a light bulb or something thought go off. What is said that you first realize, hey, that's strange?
Yeah, I can't remember if it was my first or second class, but I remember he was like an old head, a political science teacher that whatever news the TA told him, he couldn't be bothered. He was, he was going to go. His class is very important. And I'm sure if he, in retrospect, if he had to do it over again, he probably would have canceled class and let people go back to their dorms. But so my friend and I were kind of just joking about it because we didn't know what the hell was going on. And it was, we're still getting to know people, in school and in the dorms. And then we got back to the dorms and started watching what was going on. And it's pretty surreal.
So then you see it. Okay. Yeah.
So we saw it on TV, and then I can't remember when the Pentagon was hit, which is it's not close to, I mean, it's outside, it's in Virginia. So it's not close to, where we were exactly.
The bullseye, the other bullseye. There was a bullseye over there and a bullseye over here. They went to that bullseye, and you're still awaiting your treat.
Yeah, so a lot of bullseyes, but and then most of the day spent trying to get in touch with family back home to let them know we were okay. And then the other half, my girlfriend at the time was also in school with me, and she was a photographer. She had traipsed off she had actually walked as far as you could to like the river across from the Pentagon. So she was like taking pictures of all the smoke and the military. Wow. I was just upset not being able to get in touch with family, and then also trying to track down the girlfriend. And this again happens, in a time when cell phones are not a thing. Yes, sir.
So I know that you don't remember it like really vividly, moment to moment, but can you remember the emotion or the thing, the shocker or whatever kind of thing that you felt when you saw it on TV happening, one and then the other? You probably saw the second one first or whatever. But when you see that image, do you remember like a feeling inside you? Was a thought, anything like lightning hit you in your brain?
I mean, I really think it was just more general confusion. I mean, in that moment, nobody knew. I mean, besides what we had.
But didn't it get you scared, or any? Wasn't there any fear, or was there any?
Oh, for sure. I mean,
because you realized right away on video, you realize in your mind going, that's on purpose. That shit's on purpose. They did that on purpose. There's not a cloud in the sky and everything's clear. And why did the one with the second one hit?
Yeah.
Right?
I think I was more concerned with not being able to get in touch with my girlfriend, not knowing. I eventually was able to get in touch with my family back home, but her being gone for most of the day when all this is going down, my concern was for her in the moment. I didn't.
She didn't work in the buildings, did she?
No. She was just a student there with me, but a plucky, adventurous spirit.
Right. Sure. She could have been doing a Pentagon tour.
Yeah.
Who knows? Whatever. We're going on a field trip to the Pentagon. Yay!
Which, I would not
when
have
is it?
done.
Tuesday, 9/11. We got to be there early.
Well,
all right.
You got to see the show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's go take a tour. They don't let tours in that place. Sorry.
That day is definitely a blur. And then, just a confusing time because, a young person first.
Yeah, you're 18. You're young.
Yeah, I didn't know what
your
was
mind
going.
Is still like sponge-like because that's what college is getting you. So now all of a sudden your sponge is like, this isn't, I mean, like you're actually living a history class all of a sudden. You are in the midst of a thing that's going to be written about for the time on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People are always going to kind of know about it, right?
Yeah. But you don't think of, I feel like you don't think
about
that. No,
because you're 18,
moment.
Dude.
Yeah.
Can I tell you my origin story? It's very similar in a way. So I am at that time, I am 65, 75, 85, 95. So I'm 31 years old.
Oh man,
right?
You just dated yourself. I don't know if you
I'm
realized
31
you
years old. I just got married. I'd been married since the January 10th of that year. Of 2001, just because it was really planned out. Me and my wife, I wanted it to be like the Matrix, so 011001. It was like, oh yeah, it's good, perfect. So we went down to the courthouse and did that, and then we had another one for family on the 4th of July. But I got married before the world changed. So I just started college myself at Northeastern. I was going to get out of comedy, and I'm going to decide to be a teacher. And the reason is because I'll be a history teacher because I love stories. And I'm just going to go to class and tell the kids stories, and they're going to go, yay, and they're going to pass all their tests because they know everything. It was so vivid in their minds, and yes, right? So anyways, that was my delusion. But at the time of 2001, I just started at Northeastern. Now, if you know Northeastern, basically, it's a community college. It's called a university, but it's a city college. Mm-hmm. And it's just, it's in Chicago, and it's an open campus. So if it snows outside, you got to go building to building. You're going to trudge it, And it will snow outside, and it will be icy, and not all just one big building or anything like a mall. But anyways, so I happened to have a class, and it was an early one. So this was like an 8 o'clock class. And it was cross campus on the far side, so a lot of people would park their car in that area. And so I remember on that day, it's like third day of class. This was one of those teachers where he reads the syllabus in the first class. I don't want anybody talking. I don't want anybody. We're going to have a straight ship of a class. Here's what you're going to get. This is going to be your test. You're going to have to learn these things. You're going to have to remember that thing. This is that, and this, and then you can make an A if you get this many points. But don't be late. Don't be disruptive. Don't be, right? A lot of rules for this guy. Old. It's like about 80. He's been teaching since ever. He's back in the old days of 1798. I remember. So
he probably doesn't like trudging from building to building either.
Well, he was an old guy, and you could definitely tell that some of the lights going out, but it still burns hot. You know what I mean? It's just not as brightly burning, so to speak. So he's just moving at that pace. Anyways. So it was it was the second class. So the second class, 9/11, happened. So I'm fucking late. I can't park near class because it's all full, and I have to go all the way around the fucking building. And I have to park on the far end and find one way on the street somewhere where already a bunch of people are parked. So I have to walk like a mile to campus, then go through campus. And as I'm going through campus, between my building and where I'm trying to get to, I have to go through this kind of the cafeteria part of the building. And there's a cafeteria down below, and then up above there's a kind of a loungy kind of area that you can just walk by. Well, anyways, I'm walking by late for class. And, it's an 8 o'clock class, and I'm like, God damn it, I'm a couple of minutes late. So as I'm walking through the lounge, they've got a portable TV on a stand, is playing, and people are all gathered round, and, I know I'm late, but let's go see what's happening here. So I turn, and then I see the building is burning. And everybody's watching one of the burning buildings. So this is live. We got a burning building. What happened there? Oh my goodness! And as I'm watching, I muscle my way up to the front. I'm tall, but I get in front of everybody. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? As that happens, then all of a sudden the second plane, right live there, and this immediately the first thought is that is on purpose. That was so purposeful. And then my second thought was, oh no, everything's gonna change. Things are gonna change right now. But before I could even get those thoughts out, when it happened, 3 dudes behind me, full out jock dudes, white privilege, whatever the fucks, start cheering and high-fiving as the plane hits the building. Yeah! And they're going, bap, bap, bap. And I remember turning and looking at that, and I'm going, everything is going to be different now, dudes. Everything is going to be different now. You're going to want to take that back.
That's
and I remember I had to, so I backed off the crowd, I back behind those guys, but I, giraffed it over everybody. And I just watched a little bit more, and yep, there's the replay, and yep, there's another replay, and oh boy, there's another replay. So I got to get to class. God dang it, I'm 10 minutes late, 15 minutes late. So I'm booking to class, but as I'm booking, in my backpack, I have a fucking old Discman Sony, and I'm putting headphones in, and I'm getting the radio. Luckily, I got the one with the radio. I spent the extra, like, $20 that you would spend if you wanted the FM. Extra $20. People are like, I don't need no FM. Well, yeah, you need FM on this day. So anyways, I FM'd it up in my ears. I'm going, listen, get my way into class. So the way it's a seating chart, so I'm always in the back off to the left. So as I get in class, I have to go in front of everybody. I got my Walkman on. As I open the door to class, and class is full out going on, he's already taking roll, and he's doing shit at the board, I walk in and go, we're under attack. Just like that. And nobody knew anything because there's no cell phones back then. Everybody was already on time to class. I was late for class because I had to walk way away. The whole parking lot was full. Anyways, so I did that, and then everybody just looks at me weird. And it was kind of a weird statement as I realized I'm like being a, I don't want to, I realized when they looked at me all weird and cranky, weird, scrunchy faced, then I go into description. Both the World Trade Center has been hit by 2 airplanes driven by people, and we don't know what else is happening. And everybody was like, huh. So the teacher, I think, went into shock. And he just focused on the lesson. And then I went all the way in front and around the class, and I sat down. And so then for the next, and this was one of those longer classes because it was on Tuesday and Thursday, and so this is like an hour and a halfer. And I'm going, every new thing that's found out or said on the new, I'm going to have one plug in. I'm trying to focus on what he's saying on the board. He's doing an old school lecture because he's been doing it for 80 fucking years. Anyways. But it's a good lecture. He knows what he's talking about. But still, I am doing calls like, oh no, the fire's going on. They can't put it out. Oh no.
You're vocalizing this?
Yeah. So I'm vocalizing, and then I vocalize. Was it the Pentagon being hit? So around you. So oh, they hit the Pentagon. This is a war. We're in a war. And everybody was like weird-faced again at me, and the teacher, he just sort of locked up. His face got red, like he wanted to yell at me normally, like, you're not supposed to talk in my lesson. We're going to talk about the redcoats, or whatever we were doing in that class. And he just sort of, and then, and I would get back to work. So I'm doing it just like, I'm just blurting out news like a Siri that was on, just give me the emergency headlines, and Siri just blurts them out like, If you did that to Sirius nowadays, you'd hit like 20 to 30 fucking scary headlines every day.
Yeah.
So anyways, I blurting it out, and then I got to tell everybody one of the towers just fell down. They think that 25,000 people might have been in there. At this point, one of the girls, she just bursts out in tears and runs out of the classroom, and then her boyfriend looks at me with a real fucking mean face, thinking maybe I'm pranking the class, like fucking around with them, because half of them were going, this guy's story, this guy, isn't that the comedian guy? Didn't he say he was in front of class that he did some stand-up comedy, and now he's going to try and be, yeah, that's the comedian. So it took me to basically the first tower fell down, the second one was just falling, his class is about to end. And, yeah, man, it was fucked up, man. I left class. Teacher didn't say shit to me.
That's funny. College professors take their job seriously, apparently.
Yeah. People were booking to go to find a radio. People are pulling out their shit. And it was, that moment was just so fucked up because as a guy who knows history, it just is so real and so historic, right?
Yeah.
But I was also older and more conscious of like, I wanted to know more history because I was good at history, but I was going to college for more history. And now to live it, It was like a real motherfucker. It was like a real, like, this is history. Everything's history, what I'm saying. It's history in the moment.
I don't think I grasped that in that moment as a young person.
Right.
I was more just getting through, I guess, the day. And I don't even remember. I must have watched television that entire day, but I don't remember seeing the people jumping from the World Trade Center until 10 years later. They did a big retrospective.
I'm the same way.
I don't know if I blocked that out. I don't know. Yeah.
I didn't want to watch any of it.
After, and I was like, I do not. Well, it's, yeah, for good reason.
Like, for instance, another thing I will never watch, and I almost saw a whole one, but I cut it off, was beheading videos. I would never, ever, ever, I mean, like, as curious and as weird as it seems, it's almost like science, like, what's gonna, is the head gonna start talking and say a whole sentence before he dies? You know what I mean? I don't even want to, so I turn that shit off. I hate that shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of it out there.
So glad I wasn't in a war, or I'm a fucking police officer, dude. Not that heads are being cut off, but I think it's coming. I think it's coming.
Yeah, probably pretty shortly here.
Dude, things are, in your neck of the woods. A dude just ran up, bang, bang, just bang, bang. A lady and a lady and a young guy just learning the world, trying to make it a better place. At least their hopes and dreams are still inside them. And then you're going to come in as the fucking devil. The devil would make you hate everything from end to all. And the devil would come and he would shoot you.
Yeah.
But
Los
let you
Angeles
live.
has a very complicated history of their police force. So nothing is surprising, sadly, anymore.
But you know what? It's what's happening, what I'm afraid of. It's the dehumanization of others. Even if we're being dehumanized by all people. Because dehumanizing another person isn't a weird kind of... It's a good excuse to then say anything you want to fucking about them. Just like, you're all racist. You fucking say, every one of you. You know what I mean? Isn't it a way to justify to yourself, I can now feel free to go full, I don't know, Homelander on everybody with my mouth.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. That's pretty textbook psychology, right? How to undermine or a population of people is
dehumanize
animals.
Them.
Yeah.
Well, that's history. That's why now I almost wish I was a history teacher, because, oh, dude, to teach the Hitler now would be like, dude, come on, we're gonna see let's count the ways. And there's so much that rhymes in there with what's going on now. There's a rhythm that's happening, and we're in a rhythm right now, and we're going through this thing, and I don't know what the climax is, because the climax is always different. That's why I only say rhyme. It doesn't, it didn't happen before. It's not deja vu. It's more like this kind of a rhythm and a feel, like a wave.
Well, do you think we will recognize the climax? Because I think that is one thing when you're living through history, you don't say, no, this is the turning point. The climax right, it's going to happen, and then
that's the thing. The climax could have already happened, and just right recently, or right this second, and we're not really sure what, because it's sort of like searching. Like, all right, let me give some hard examples. So, just with this guy specifically, but I won't mention him by name. So anyways, huge sex scandal, and out in the open on audio, totally, says just the most like, I can do anything I want because I just can. Because look at money. Money's done this for me. Whatever. And you would think, oh, no, that's it. Never gonna survive it. But wait a minute, survives it. And then the next thing, oh shit, never gonna survive, but survives it. Then it says into the latest thing, like he knew in early, and he said that he knew. And that guy with the book that's really slow put it out just now, 6 months later. You know what I mean? And then, but you think that's going to be, no, because there's so many 9/11s happening right now.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know where it is. It could have passed us by and go, well, was it worse than that? No, when you see 10 years from now what that one thing that happened 2 days ago actually did in the future, then you'll realize, oh, that was where everything changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily somebody firing a gun and everybody running over hills and we're all shooting each other and people and, like khakis and flip-flops shooting each other and everybody's got hats and they're wearing reds, like we can target them easy. You know what I mean? Like, just coming out. I don't think that's how it's going to go down here.
No.
Like, just...
Well, I don't want to get off topic. I will share with you in the news media overload this year, when I thought there was going to be a turning point that didn't, I don't think ended up happening but in the moment I was like, this is it. Something's got to change because of this. Was the elderly white protester in Buffalo that was pushed over by the police officer and cracks his head open. I thought that was going to be to some population of white people be like, okay, there's something wrong here. This happened to somebody that looks like me. Let's try to fix this. And then 2 days later, people were saying that he had a blood packet that was pumping blood out of the back.
See, you're not... I was
incredibly naive to think that no video is going to be the smoking gun for anybody, I think.
So what happens, I think, in a certain segment of the society, that thing happens, and what they do is they put their brain on pause, and then they find the leader, and the leader says something, or some of the other sub-leaders that speak on the radio maybe every single day for years, in the last 20 years, and saying the one thing and never, ever said a good thing about Obama in all 8 years. Come on. Not one thing. And that they're being fed by that, and then they stay in that pool of that, and it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And every day they hear it. So in other words, they see that image, you would think, the first thing you're thinking, you're being critical thinking, oh shit, this is a bad image. That Steve was totally innocent. I just saw it. They put their brain on, I think I saw what I saw, but let me hear what they say what I saw. And then they say, blood pack, he was a fake, it was a setup, he's a murderer, that guy actually, people, he's a pedophile, whatever they're going to say. And then it's, oh my God. And then their brain opens up into that warm mush of acceptance. They go, yeah, it was all set up and they're doing it on purpose and we should be meaner to them. And so then that keeps cyclically going. So it's almost like they're in like kind of a tornado of negativity where it moves so fast and they don't even know what to think anymore, but they're being thought for because they're hearing it all the time. And it's just going, here's the voice that I will say. And they say it sloppy. That's why the other side hears them on the news. Why aren't you wearing a mask? Well, because, one time a mosquito and death with breathing and, and that's all they can remember. Like, yeah, the thing that got me mad because is why. And that's all they hear, and they talk to each other. And if you leave the group, they get mad at you, and they'll all of a sudden treat you as like. And so right now, that segment of society that is in that brain psychology tornado of culty, they are dangerous. And this is the first part of how Hitler got power was through propaganda, dude. He was amazing at it. Those dudes that worked for him were amazeballs at it. And people just accepted it. Like, they heard his message. It was like, he was a fucking oddball. I mean, Hitler was weird. He was weird looking, that weird fucking mustache, that way he moved, the way he talked, how he held his hand up. Hey, girls. Hi. Like, what the fuck with this guy? But he's weird. He's quirky. He's odd. But listen to his vitriol and anger and the wanting to get back and do it. And people were like, oh, yeah. And like, yeah, and we're going to be win. And he was winning. He fucking got the Autobahn going. He fucking made trains go on time. He maybe even he built a wall too. I don't know. But shit was going down and used that propaganda and it fed every day and movies specifically tailored and all that stuff. So right now, people in this tornado are in the tailored world of Facebook, tailored world of all the news program, OAS, OAN, whatever the fuck, and way deep and dark, and QAnon now they're going into. You can see them literally boring into the center of the earth with their, like, we're going to the center. It's pedophile rapists in the democracy. And then, holy shit.
But I also think to some degree, I don't know what it would take to change my mind. I mean, not that I think, in my opinion, I don't believe in, crazy conspiracy theory stuff, but I feel like I'm firmly entrenched in my beliefs where it would take a lot to convince me, that the president is doing his lawful duty, or that the institution of policing can be reformed, with baby steps.
Right. Absolutely.
You could show me a bunch of different studies that say the alternative, and I am still stuck in my tornado.
Right. There is definitely a tornado with you, with me, because you do want to hear the things you want to hear. Isn't it true? Don't you want to hear what you want to hear?
Yes.
Is that a hard question?
But I do.
You failed that one. True or false? Do you want to hear what you want to hear?
Yes. I think the answer is yes. But I think it really does. So much of it comes back to history, because these aren't new things that are happening.
Oh.
This has happened over and over again, and that's where our education system has failed us terribly.
Here's my theory. The Trump library, it's just going to be volumes of books like an encyclopedia, but it will just be what happened that day, like just a big giant biography of the United States of America, and it's just going to be volumes and volumes. So if you want Tuesday, it comes in 500-page volumes, and you learn all about Tuesday, January 23rd, 16, and then there's just walls of, like, this is the 2016 wall. Look at how big it is. Oh my goodness, we had to make extra room for all the 2016, and then 2017 just as big. And look at how scary the haunted section gets to in 2019. Ooh, in 2020, everybody's shitting the pants. Yes.
It would be ironic if Trump had the biggest presidential library, because if he did it that way, you could die in there.
It. The dude's a machine, dude. We're missing something right now. Something's happening right this second.
Yeah. When it doesn't happen often, but when people ask, like, can you say one good thing about the president? Right. I would say, I think he's incredibly good at his job, which is not being the president and serving the public. He is good at his job. Staying president and spreading misinformation, he's a professional.
Right. So if that's how you see the president, but as I see it as a history guy, I see it also with how it's meant to be, and so therefore, he is an amazing. Oh, dude. One of the walls is just going to be the psychology of the 45th president, and it's just going to be just volumes. Here's all about bipolar. Here's what happens on Adderall. Here's the ADHD combined with narcissism. Here's the sociopath or psychopath. Ooh, go into that section. You'll never guess which one he was. Kid, he was both. He's both.
Whoever is curating this library, they're just suicide after suicide.
Oh my God! No, yeah. Everybody who becomes the caretaker. It's like you're just filled with. They lasted at least 6 months, so that's a lot longer than the last 4. Because the people that are going in there, man, and the way they're acting, they're gonna get the books all. They're not gonna be returning them. He's probably gonna lend it out like a library. Don't take it home. Read it in your private. It'll be a true library.
I don't even know how presidential libraries work, but not every president should. Why does Nixon have one? Can we take his down? What's the point of it?
No, you know what? Everybody, even if it's good or bad news, everybody's got to have what's the story there? So everybody should. If we're going to make that rule, good or bad, we got to go for it. Let's go for it all the way. It's like fucking the freedom of speech. You know, you got a
But then
good, bad.
the libraries are become propaganda. It's like I don't agree with a lot of the stuff Ronald Reagan did. He is glorified, but
there should be
so
a
many
push.
bad policies.
There should be a fucking push in this country across the board for classes in critical thinking, classes in psychology should be taught early. Teach people how to be critical thinkers. If you can do that, and you find, you get the classes like what news should I listen to, you get a better sense of what it is that you should be paying attention to in your life. Arguably, right now in life, right in the very now, me and you, all we should be concentrating is the me and you. Right now, you should be concentrating on how well you're eating, how much sleep you're getting, what you're doing in your life, your goals, and you know what I mean? And being good to yourself. And do the thing. Find the thing that you love in this time, because this is a pause right now. So, anyways, this is the reason I'm doing this. I just, it's fun, right? And it's a good excuse just to talk to you. I mean, like how, right?
For sure. I think, now more than ever, making a connection, if only for an hour, or gaining a perspective, hearing somebody else's perspective, depending on if you can sit with it and stomach it, is a good thing.
Can I tell you a small thing that happened? It's on this kind of flavor.
Yeah.
So like 2 months ago, I'm so fucking AD. I literally had 3 different Facebook's accounts with Darren Bodecker. 2 of them, one I'd used when I first started, then I forgot about it after like 2 years, and I made a brand new one thinking I wasn't on there, and like, oh shit, there's another Darren, oh, that's me. And then after that, I stopped doing the 2, like ADD, I got ADD. And then I did a 3rd one, and then as I'm just filled in the name and pressed OK up, my page, I remembered, oh yeah, I have another one. Oh yeah, and I have another one too. And then I never went to that one, and I always went to the second one I made. Well, anyways, I got rid of the 2, the one I never went to, and the second one I'd made, which was the more current one. I had like T.J. Miller and those guys on it, Kumail.
Comedy folks.
Right, comedy folks that I knew for a long time. But I got rid of it, and I went to this one. Anyways, sorry, I'm getting a little hyper detailed here. I took some Adderall, so forgive me. It's, prescribed. So I'm hyper focusing. So anyways, your
second Facebook page.
Anyways, so I'm getting ready to do this. It takes me months to get to this point. It literally took me like 6 or 7 years of trying to build up confidence or whatever. Mm-hmm. As you know, for 6 years I was doing podcasts when I went to people's houses. You knew that, right? That I went, but none of them are out yet. That's my flaw. Everybody's flawed. And so, anyways, so this guy named Huck, I shouldn't even say his name, he'll probably sue me. I'll erase that part. Anyways, this guy, right, he was a fucking dude who, when I was in the Army, and when I was in 1986, when I was 21 years old, I was in Korea for an entire year, and I met this guy named Huck. And he was older. He was like 6 years older than me, which is like an old man to a 21-year-old. You're like, wow, you're 27? Oh, my God. Yeah, 6 years. And so, anyways, I befriended him after a while. I would run really far. He was a jogger. He wasn't necessarily very charismatic. He wasn't good looking. He was just kind of this jogger nerd guy that was smart.
That's a great description of a jogger. He's just a jogger. Not very charismatic. Just jogs. Yeah,
no, like distance. Like we're talking 12 miles just 'cause. He'd run 12 miles in the Army. Like we already got to run 3 miles in the morning, but he's going to do an extra 12 that afternoon. So he's one of those kind of guys, like a real nerd, but of running. And so he would do it, and he was he was littler than me. I'm 6'6". Look at me. And so, yeah, a couple of times I went with him on these long runs. I became friends. We went downtown together. We went to whorehouses together. We didn't pick up chicks because we were both nerds in that way, and we let other people go off with their girls, and then we left. But anyways, so when I get on the second Facebook, and that was just like a couple of months, 2 months ago, right? He all of a sudden hits me up on Messenger. Hey, whoa, I saw you post, and is this Darren from, Korea? And we hung out in North Carolina for another year after. I was after Korea, so 86 and 87. So anyways, I was like, yeah, and so he's like, and then I was just like doing the Facebook Live at the time, and I was like, come on, how about this Tuesday, me and you do a Facebook Live, and we'll just talk about the Army, and I haven't seen or heard from you since 87. Shit. You're Hawk, dude. And so I went and did a couple of...
those 20, 30 years due to Huck? I'm going to be sad to hear, I feel like.
So what happened was let me cut to the quick. He fucking ghosted me. All of a sudden, when the day comes, I'm like, you ready? Let's go. Before that, he gave me his phone number and everything, and I'm texting him over his phone. Then I'm also texting him on Messenger. So I'm like, both ways. I didn't call him and talk to him on the voice because I wanted to, be fresh. But he fucking, yeah. So then I was like, why would he ghost me? And then I looked at it. I went and just decided to research him, which I probably should have done. And he's super conservative, fuck you liberals kind of memed on his Facebook. You know what I mean? You get a general sense of that.
You get it very, very, very early.
And
yes.
some fucking mean ones too, like just of ones that were black kids doing something really bad in the grocery store, like drinking the liquids and then putting them back on the shelf, and then kind of snickering into the camera and then walking off. And then he would post that during the time of, that these things are happening, like in the hard times, like well, come on, dude, what? That everybody can do that, and that's not why. So it's like trying to paint everybody that. You can clearly see it. So it's like mean, dude. It's mean. It's bad. It's bad. If you're critical thinking, it doesn't work. It's an anecdote. You can think of any white kids doing it, Asian kids, anybody who's thirsty, anybody who's in a poor neighborhood, anybody who's downtrodden, anybody who's authority is not their friend, anybody who's living in condition, any human on the planet, that could be a video of. But when you do it on Facebook, you're sending a message and look at this, you know what I mean? You get what you surface thing. Don't think deep about this. Just look at the video and then get mad and then just move on to the next video I'm about to show these other two black people kicking an old lady and eating her dog. Whatever the fuck he's gonna send next. Anyways, so then I looked on my website and what do I got on my Facebook? Because clearly he ghosted me because he looked at my Facebook first. And
yeah.
I did a whole 20-minute segment in one of my Facebook Lives right before I was going to do him that I just, that was posted a couple days ago. A whole segment of how Fort Bragg, change that fucking name, dude. Change that fucking name, dude. And me and him both were on Fort Bragg, but I was going into like a 20-minute diatribe into like, the dude was a fucking loser. As a history guy, man, come on, he's not even a good one. He was a loser. He just had some rich friends who pulled strings. He sucked. Anyways, so I was like, fuck, dude. And so that brings me to I pleaded like, dude, what's up? What's wrong? I'm playing dumb, but I never texted him. So I've still got his Facebook thing. I don't know if he's blocked me, maybe, but maybe not. But I also have his phone number and I also have Messenger. So I was thinking about doing a three-pronged. I want to talk about our time in the Army and running and not fucking talk about any of this shit. What I did after I realized that on my own Facebook, I had Trump shit, and I would, sometimes if shit just struck me as really smart, but cutting, I would put it up. But it had to be For me to put up a meme, it's gotta be goddamn brilliant.
Well,
Brilliant.
Every meme should have a source as well, but
I was putting up bigger things like maybe a TED Talk that was brilliant, or more of a YouTube short video that was like really, really history, this is the truth kind of thing. But anyways, I took all of my political shit down from years and years and years. I just took it off. Because when you're talking about people and people to getting to know each other and talking and everything, isn't that one of the most irrelevant fucking things to hate each other about? Don't we all eat? Don't we all sleep? Don't we all F? Don't we all want good things for people and have smiles and happiness? Isn't that truly, as an animal with a frontal lobe, isn't that what we ultimately just want, is to be, yay, thank you, you're welcome, please, no, after you. I'm trying to empathize. If I don't, let me listen to your story. Don't you want that to be, we have a disagreement, so let's work it out. We're both humans. We both got to live. We both got to eat, right? So why not? Let's help each other out.
Yeah, I don't know. Everything is viewed through a black and white prism now, so it's hard to. Yeah,
it's the power of propaganda, dude. Ultimately that's what it is. Propaganda. The voices you hear in your own head when you're not listening to anything and you have self-doubt, like the voices you hear in the morning or at nighttime. You know where those voices come from? They were the voices that you heard basically since you were like a month old all the way to about 13, 14 years old, before puberty hit. Those are all those things that were said to you, you overheard, was directed towards you. So if your parents were like, you're an awesome person, you're great, you're funny, you're the best, those are your voices in your head. If they say, you suck, you're so terrible, why aren't you better, you're stupid. If they say those things to you, then that's what the voices that you have in your head when you wake up now. Or those are the voices. They're not made up. They're things that were placed in little recordings that through your filter now comes out into a silent thought that you're trying to bat away during a meditation session. No, don't think about, oh God, that's horrible.
Well,
why?
I think it's you bring up a good point where, what happens early in, childhood is important, and people, I think, you need to recognize mental health from a young age, and make sure that the resources of children are met, because they become people, and then we have to live with these people around us.
Mental health. The only way you can change the future is you got to figure out a way to be able to teach critical thinking to the youth now. Critical thinking, not just one way of thinking or brought to you by,
right. But
abortion's unlimited.
The fact that we are not taught critical thinking is also by design.
Boy, now you're going deep with the QAnon. Meaning that this is the true QAnon. No, this is the real QAnon. It's true. It was from factories, dude. Moms and dads had to go to the factory in New York City, those fucking hoodlums, dude, when they were hitting puberty and they were throwing rocks, and then younger kids were emulating the older ones, and all of a sudden you have 5-year-olds throwing rocks and stealing your apples off the cart that are 5 cents. Oh my God, dude. My half a day's pay just got ripped off by 5 years old. And they were like, solution, school, how do we design it? Factory like. Come out, get to the factory. So that was the engine.
To come out the same.
But you get them off the street. You have a babysitter for them. And then, but it is a good thing ultimately. It's just that, everybody's different, and you can't just teach like a factory, which they're still kind of doing a lot, and that's not good.
You mentioned you would like to be teaching history, but if you were given a history book and curriculum that you didn't necessarily agree with, or ran counter to some things that were core to you, how do you rectify that? This is your job to spread what you might believe as misinformation, or I
pull one of those tricks where I look to every adult and everything. I look like the follows the rule kind of teacher, but when they get in the class, like, hey man, all right man, you got problems with memory, so here, look at this picture book, man, and hey man, let's use the internet, you love it, come on. So I would be like that kind of teacher where I'm trying to recognize everybody's an individual, man, and we all think different. It's like brain waves, man. My brain waves are like ADHD and they're all blue, but some people are like they're full out, bipolar, and they run a nice rich purple. And, you just, in other words, I would kind of, now having the experience of what you just said and I had to do because I was new, now I'm more dangerous minded in the sense to that administration, because I do want to teach critical thinking and I want to teach the truth, because we all can handle the truth. We can handle the truth of slavery. We can handle the truth of 9/11. We can handle the truth. We can. It is a thing in us that we can handle it. But you need to just bring it in a nice, where it's almost like each kid thinks they kind of discovered it, or it's the thing that they're really digging. So that's the key, is like to find the key to all the kids.
Yeah, so just find, depending on where you're teaching, 25 to 50 different keys in every classroom.
No, yeah, I was doing
Unlock
like 120 keys a day. 120 different keys. And I couldn't, because ADD, it sucked. I could focus on one key, but then all the other keys are like, dude, you're not going to put us in the door?
All the other keys are jangling in the background.
Yeah. Like, put yourself in the door for homework 10 times, because you're a key and there's the door. No, it sucked for me, because I didn't even know I had ADHD back then. But can we go to what I was wanting to talk about?
Please.
So I'm trying to be better. Oh, God. Look at us. Okay. So, I'm going to edit that. No, I'm not going to edit out. So what I want to do is talk about our origin story. What is the first thing you remember of me? Do you remember?
Oh, man. You picked a horrible person for your podcast.
No.
Probably one of the worst memories.
What was one of the first essences or kind of glimmer of, like, what was something about me you do remember from far off, like an essence of me?
We're going essences. Well, I definitely feel like my first sort of imprint of you was probably playing poker after the Lincoln Lodge or another open mic that I might have. Poker. My sort of intro into the Chicago comedy scene, I feel like, was poker first, because I was 20 when I moved to Chicago and couldn't get into a lot of the bars and mics.
Right.
So, I mean, you were.
No, you're right.
For the most part, a huge goof.
Okay.
And from what I recall, not a terribly skilled card player. You wore your heart on your sleeve. You had fun doing it, which appreciate the fun-loving aspect.
Yeah.
But I remember you standing up and getting crushed by bad beat after bad beat.
See, my problem is I have too much.
Man.
I fantasize too much, and it comes out in the real world when poker's actually a game of math, and
Yes.
I'm playing World of Warcraft, and going, I'm gonna win this battle. Oh, yeah. This pair of kings totally wins everything, and the other guy's, like a Cheshire cat. Nah, that just means he's bluffing. There's no way he's got two aces. All of it. Looks like I gotta go home, friends. Bye.
Right. You're the hero until the end, and then, yes, you have to go home.
Yeah. I remember of you, now that you bring that up, and you, so, you were like, you knew when you had your moments, you were funny and fun-loving, but you were also on the game, I remember, as being you. But you were also fun-loving and would get involved and also do things that were very funny.
If you weren't having fun at those poker games, I mean, that's a thing, I think I realized eventually it's not about winning the money. It's about playing for as long as possible and, busting a gut till 4 a.m.
Describe the poker game for anybody who might not know when and where and how and what.
Oh, sure. I mean, I feel like the first ones that I went to were at Steve-O Harvey, our mutual friend, rest in peace.
Okay, he lived on the second floor, and he lived with Josh Cheney.
Yeah,
And they were both roommates.
Ravenswood.
And every Friday we would do it, and then he started moving it to Friday and Saturday, and then all of a sudden Friday, Saturday, Tuesday, and then Friday, Saturday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And every week there was more pizzas in the freezer, more sodas and beers in the fridge. Now all of a sudden there's a keg. Now all of a sudden there's a guy with a barbecue spinning a pork, a big pig over there in the living room.
Yeah.
And Josh Cheney's going, I gotta wake up in the morning, go to sleep. Fuck this shit. And so after about, 3-4 months of that, when it built up to Josh Cheney can't tolerate his roommate anymore, it got cut severely down to once a week and not in this house. We had to move it.
I don't remember if it jumped to Brady's right after, but I remember at that point when it was growing like that, it's because there would be so many people, you'd have to be at 2 tables. And that was when you found out what table you were going to be at is when you realized what kind of night you're going to have. It's like if you're in the table with the friends of the comedians,
the kiddie
this
table,
is going to be fun.
Yeah.
They're not funny and they're concentrating on the cards. So I'm going to lose money and not laugh.
I always wanted to be at the main table just because I like to the jester, hold court for, I was like, fuck it. I'm going to get high.
Stand up and put your cards down
and do a bit, whatever it's going to be. But yeah, those were some of the most joyful times. Don't you wish we were had to go to one this Friday? Hey, we're going to do this thing right now. And then on Friday, I'll see you at the card game with Steve-O there.
Yeah.
Steve-O was there. Who else is there?
All right, so you had Steve-O. Cheney would play
Josh
here
Cheney.
And again. The Jury brothers.
Jury.
Bill Cruz.
Bill Cruz, yes.
Bridenstine.
I'm going to link all these guys in the description, by the way. So if you keep naming, that's more links I got to do. Who else? TJ Miller was there before.
TJ would play.
Kumail never did he?
Probably here and there. I don't think he wasn't really.
I don't remember him there. But you said CJ Sullivan?
Oh yeah, CJ and Brady would play. Brian Petrovka.
Oh boy, he was a bulldog.
Sean Cole,
another bulldog.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Cole, I heard once flipped the fucking table upside down, like everybody was playing. Then he went douche, and walked into the kitchen. And he kind of played it off as a bit, but he also, it was real serious. Yeah, he was trying to play. It was pretty embarrassing that he's actually friends with everybody, and everybody, is just razzing, but he gets so, topped off that he really crosses the line. That's a line crosser, dude. All of a sudden, you're dangerous, and do we want to invite you back next week? Because this could happen. And I might be winning next time you do that shit. You know what I mean? Nobody, dude, I think I had $20. No, me too. Yeah, no, you were losing. Oh my God. Everybody, all the chips are fucked.
Well, you never know when that's going to come. And I was playing craps once at Circus in Vegas. And a brawl broke out.
No.
Somebody was somebody had their hand in and the dice hit off of there. And my poker, history in the Chicago comics, I just took my chips and just hid under the table.
Oh, nice.
Just see you guys in 5 minutes.
I think back in the old days, what would happen? They'd take him in the back room, and that guy who had his fucking hands low, he'd be his hands wouldn't be working that well. They'd be hands up while they're healing.
Yeah. Probably not so at circus. They would,
hit his hand. So I know exactly what happened. It hit his hand, and then he gets the fucking worst roll. Whatever it was, Snake Eyes, is that the worst, or a 7?
Well, the guy was rolling hot, and then it was a.
It's his fucking hand.
It had happened a couple of times, and he was warned don't put your hand in.
No.
Don't put your hand in.
So it hit his hand a couple times.
I don't know if it hit it the last time, and that's what set it off. But
Got it.
you don't have your hands in the field of play. That's not a great thing. But yeah, that's a children's casino, so it's a great place to gamble.
Circus, yeah. So you're playing next to a kid, next to a 12-year-old over here. Come on, Pops. Come on, Pops. You get a bet? little kids.
It's a wonderful sad
Circus,
place.
circus. Fuck the circus. Come on, deal me in.
I actually have gambled with underage people there. They don't.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a lovely casino.
Well, when we were so we were gambling. That was the first place we met. And then I remember seeing you doing comedy and stand up, and you have a style that's you have a very unique voice when you're doing stand up. You're very your essence was you do kind of bits a bit. More brainy. You have to. Sometimes it's a move or a face. So there's a physical aspect to you. You kind of were raised up in the Lincoln Lodge, right? That was where you got your chops for the
most part. Because the Lions Den closed down within a couple of within a year of me turning 21. So
Lions Den across from the Biograph Theater on Lincoln, the place where Dillinger got shot. No,
I never made that one. The one on Irving Park.
Got it. The one on Irving and what was that, Halstead or
Irving and Damon. Walk down from there.
Right. There's
that's where I sort of started.
Okay.
But the Lincoln Lodge is where I did some Dave Odd shows, as we all do. But the Lincoln Lodge is where I definitely learned a lot, cut my teeth, and got on stage, and also learned about producing and that sort of stuff. So it was a fun time back then.
Just going back a little tiny bit more, or a bunch more. When was it that you became conscious of you were funny or a good actor or wanted to be in theater or wanted to do stand-up? When was that? Do you remember?
I was always like I probably should have been on a Ritalin or something as a child. I'm glad I think I just missed the window where every hyperactive kid was given Ritalin. Mm-hmm. So I was just bouncing off the walls as a crazy person. But I think I knew pretty early on. I always did like stage shows and stuff, and then one day I was probably like 8 or 10, my parents bought me the book How to Be a Stand-Up Comic, written by Richard Belzer.
It's a good book.
Law and Order fame. Have you read it?
The Bells. I read, well, I'm ADHD, so I read 2 chapters and a half.
That's about as much content as there is in the book. But and then just always just watching comedy and wanted to do it, and well, funny enough, after 9/11 happened, I was having sort of a crisis of conscience because there was so much patriotism. I was like, I already didn't like school. I went there to study politics, and I was like, I don't want politics. It seems like a waste. Like I could. Nobody in my family. Well, my grandfather served, but I was like, now is the time to let's join the military. 9/11 just happened. There's so much rampant patriotism. I'm in DC. And then a month later, I auditioned for and got into the sketch and improv group at school. And then I was like, cool. I don't like school, but I like this. So I'll try to hang in there. I didn't end up going to college for very long, but that was when I was like, that's what I kind of went. It's what I wanted to do, and it. I tried out and got it, and then I was like, okay, I would just do this. This is too much fun not to do.
How would you describe your comedy now, or how would you describe your funniness? So you got to pitch yourself. I'm a producer. Hey, how would you comedy? How would you describe yourself? Where are you looking? What's your goals? What do you envision when you trying to be funny? What do you think?
Whatever this voice is, I don't want him to be my agent. But if I'm,
it's my old Vegas guy. I just brought him over. I figured he's already working. Circus. I don't want to pay 2 characters in this show. I'm barely making it.
For me, my biggest influences were Steve Martin and Andy Kaufman.
Ooh.
And
Steve
for
Martin.
Me, I think.
High five.
Yes.
That's me and you, both of us.
Yeah.
I'm all the way back from the Get Small album.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was a kid. All right, go ahead.
So I would say something that I like to think that I strive for. I don't know, but I think that one of the highest compliments in comedy is I would like that's so stupid. Like just I guess not necessarily so stupid it's smart, but like The Jerk is such a like it's such a stupid movie, but I think stupid comedy is great. Not
Right.
like Blue or anything, but just like something that is so dumb and not necessarily there's aspects of Dada or nonsensical type things, but something that just like I can't. It's literally that's so dumb. I can't believe you said it or did it, and I love it, and that sort of stuff tickles me.
One of the jokes that I like best in the Steve Martin Jerk movie, and it's not necessarily a laugher, but it's a builder. It's when he's got to move out, and he's just going to take this, and he's just going to take that, and he's just going to take this, and he's just going to take that. And he's got all those just awkward stuff. But I just like the visual and the rhythm of that joke. I like the feel of that joke. So it's very memorable to me. Mm-hmm. And it isn't necessarily the funniest laugh out loud joke, but it's definitely like, yeah. This almost fits my ADD. Yeah, I want this, and I'm going to take that, and oh yeah, let me take this, and let me take that. I'd be a terrible bank robber. I'd be in the safe, like, oh, I don't want the gold. Wait, the silver. Oh my God, there's an old coin with Lincoln on it. Oh, that's just a penny. All right, and I'd be all over and then they'd get arrested after 45 minutes in the bank vault. I don't know why. I'll take it all. I'm trying to do a fucking Santa Claus sized bag out the door. that would be me.
Steve Martin, Andy Kaufman, and that sort of just like so weird and seemingly without a point, but and maybe sometimes a joke does have a point, and maybe sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, so that's a terrible pitch, and I don't necessarily perform comedy as much anymore, if at all. So.
Let me ask you a question do you think Andy Kaufman went too far? Too far being that it wasn't pleasurable to watch in a deeply satisfying way. It was just more like, I feel like I want to leave. I'm too cringing out. It's too much.
No, I think the only thing for me, and that I might like that gives me pause and now, I hate the fucking saying the Me Too era, but whatever. the wrestling probably is like, that essentially that's.
It was mean.
Yeah,
he was being mean to other people,
using as a means to a certain end, but
right.
But otherwise,
you're right.
Yeah,
you're right. That was too far.
It's taping down his erection.
It's too far because
the audience so much.
Even if they may have been actors, there was this the horrible truth, and like he'd call them fat and all that weak, and he would win, and then he would play it off like, yeah, I'm, Mr. T or whatever after Rocky, and he'd just play it off to the hilt. But I think it was honestly, I actually saw the slap live on Letterman, like I was old enough to know, and I saw the slap on Letterman, and that it's a real slap. And that whatever it is, it's really acting. And I know I'm smart enough back then to know that he, already set people in the audience to heckle him. And he had already was, that whole other character would shit on Taxi, that one day with bringing in hookers and getting fired purposely. So I knew that guy. I don't know if those events happened. Yeah, they happened before that. So when I saw that slap, it was it for me, for him. Because that was the line that was crossed too much. It made me sad, in a way. And I didn't want to feel sad. I mean, I understand shock, and that was, but it made me feel sad and bad, and yeah, just as a person, see, I grew up bullied a whole bunch. So to see that moment, yeah, and he was provoking it, and he knew that he was it was just sad. So yeah, I stopped watching him. I wouldn't watch the wrestling girls. I barely ever caught any of it, but I knew it was happening. I was like, no, he's not. Yeah, he's lost it.
maybe you like him as a comedian, and I mean, because he was playing with the conventions of two different genres or aspects of entertainment. So
well, he
I'm not a big
introduced
wrestling
hard.
fan.
You know, my first saw him. I saw him on Saturday Night Live doing the Mickey Mouse. Not Mickey Mouse. I'm sorry, Mighty Mouse.
Mighty Mouse, yeah.
Mighty Mouse. That's when I saw him. Dude, could be no higher on a pedestal of funny than the way he moved and what he did and then that. And he just stood still. And it was like, yeah, he's so brave. And he did it with all that confidence. And it was just fun. And then he left without explaining anything. It was just beautiful. It was like so wonderful. I can't wait to see what's he going to do next. He's like David Blaine of comedy. Like, what? Huh? What? He just made
I mean, if you're pushing boundaries like that, you're bound to eventually, if you keep doing it, you're going to alienate people. You're going to lose part
He went
of
to
your
a
audience.
bad area, though. He went to a bad area. You know, that character, so I say if Kaufman was doing that today, so if he was in the wrestling the thing stage, I bet $1 he would take the side of a really, really super Trump supporting hick to really get at all the liberals. Like play it real down to the bone, like sleeping out in campfires with them like Bruno did in the movie, just going to the South. You know, like he would just go full out Southern, like completely ridiculous, but all the while he would get like tear gas thrown at him and he would cry and then cry to the camera, why don't people get along, and then he'd say the most weirdest, almost racist thing. Do you think he would do that? He would he would be like a big Trump supporter shit, like try to get to the White House like Kanye?
Oh gosh, I mean, to my knowledge, he never got involved in politics, but
No, I'm just saying that's the most
contrarian.
That's the most inflaming thing, because inflaming back then was beating up a woman. Inflaming was, I mean, he was really crossing a line there.
Yeah.
And so now, what's the biggest line in this whole fucking country? It's that one.
Yeah, other people are doing that. I don't know, because
Well, he was a line crosser, and he liked to get people fucked off in the head. So I would think if you want to fuck off a lot of people, you'd go that route.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a theory. It's a theory. He pushed things. I'm saying if you want to push shit, you pretend you're something you're not, and then you go to the fucking ends of the earth to make people go, I hate you, even if you're playing a game here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
or the inverse for the wrestling crowd. He could just be the super liberal.
Yeah.
I think I don't watch a lot of wrestling, but we went to Mexico City and saw some luchador wrestling, and there is, I assume this is, I've only seen it once live, but I assume this is a trope. There is a gay character,
Okay.
El Dolce Gardenia, and his whole thing is that other wrestlers don't want to touch him because he's gay, and his big finishing move is like he will kiss you.
Oh,
so
it's like a soap opera.
Yeah, that's what wrestling is, but it's just interesting. Like you recognize that homosexuality exists and it's a thing, and you allow it in wrestling, but you are.
He's playing to that
the
lowest,
villain to some degree.
Right, that lowest base thing, because they're just given the culture, it's very religious, and it's in that book in some way or the other, and so therefore just people are, and then, wow.
It's entertaining.
It was entertaining, I bet.
I don't know if it's right, but it's a very.
No, it definitely wasn't PC. I don't think you could take it on a tour of the United States very easily.
not the big cities, but certain places, absolutely.
Yeah. Yes, definitely some places, but still, it would be on the news. Geez. So, with your comedy, so now you went out to, so you left Chicago, so you got good, you're at the Lincoln Lodge, you got to host, you got to do sets, you got hours and hours and hours, you got your, at least 5,000 hours in, and you decide, I'm going to LA to specifically, what is your goal?
I would say, my general goal is, I want to work in show business, I want that to be my job. But yeah, I mean, I wanted to continue to do the things I was doing in Chicago. So doing stand up, auditioning for commercials, that sort of
Mm-hmm.
thing. I didn't have any, I didn't, wasn't a, I don't think I was ever a great writer
Okay.
for, besides for like what I wanted to do myself on stage. I don't think I was ever a great sketch writer. So I was just kind of wanted to like, I'll keep doing the acting, I'll keep doing the stand up, and hopefully I can, make a living.
So you were still kind of searching then. So in other words, you didn't have your eye pointed on some, planet you want to take off to. You kind of like, I want to head in that direction of the galaxy and then see where I land.
Yeah. And I think to a certain degree, at least as a, going from getting that book when I was 8 years old of how to be a stand-up comic to like, even before getting to LA, it's like, it was like, you've done stand-up comedy. You can say you can say you've done it. A lot of people say they've done it and they haven't, or a lot of people say they've done it. I did stand-up. It's like, well, you did it twice, but when you do it for years, it's like the highs and the lows, and it feels great. It's the most fun you can have with your pants on, all that sort of thing.
Yes.
So I feel like I feel pretty fulfilled with my experience in it, even though I never. Well, I did tape a special. I taped a stage show and a one-man show, but yeah, I was just kind of going to hopefully keep doing what I was going to do in Chicago, and whatever happened, happened. I never had I'm going to be on SNL. I need to write my movie. I need to do this. It was just, I've always been kind of a go with the flow person, and I've been blessed in life to generally fall on my, land on my feet. So
as a generality, if you could go back to before you left Chicago, what would you do different?
Oh, that's a good one.
Not left, gotten more hours, opened up your own place.
What would I do different?
Classes, or would you have gone sooner, or would you?
Oh man, I'm not a big.
This is fantasy. It's fantasy.
Person. I guess we're gonna go out in left field. I wish I would have committed myself to learning Spanish.
Yeah.
I feel like if as I've been in LA for 10 years, I feel like if I would have really tried, I could speak a little better. I'm not even conversational.
So you could grow your audience, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because you have the mustache. It's very. It's just something that will get you across the border at first glance.
Well, yeah,
now you have to have the language skills to carry you. Yeah. So it doesn't turn into Roadhouse.
Pre-mask, it could get me a Michelada or two, but
right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't. In general, I don't have a lot of regrets in life, and I try not to get caught up in what could have been, or hindsight is 20/20.
I get that. I'm just going fantasy here, and I was just saying, just for fun. I mean, we do what we do, and we are who we are because of what we've done. Yeah, sure. But I was just saying for fun, just like a comic book. It's like, let's write this panel. What would it look like if this happened? And now with that knowledge. But that's cool. We do not have to go there because, dude, so we're coming up on time. Mm-hmm. Can we, you know what I want to talk to you about?
I don't.
So then you don't know what answered. Okay. You then get into, so when I see you on Facebook, I've realized you are working for Fail Army, and I'm a big every Friday or whenever those things come out. Now I'm on Zap Spion and other Zap things. I think they're French Canadian fail videos, but yeah, I was very proud of you to get on that thing, even though you weren't going to be, starring in any of it.
Hopefully not, because I don't.
Right.
I've never broken a bone, and I can't skateboard a lick.
So what did you do? How did you get that job? Was that another skill?
I mean, it has weirdly turned into a skill. Yeah, do you know Jocelyn Hughes? Yes, Chicago comedian.
Sure.
So she moved out here, and I don't know I don't want to tell her story, but she eventually got a job at Tosh.0,
Oh,
which
okay.
is a Comedy Central clip
Nice.
show. She got Ricky Carmona a job there as a production assistant, and he got me a job there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then since then, I have just worked at almost every clip show. I mean, there's a ton of them, but I've worked at there and Ridiculousness and America's Funniest Videos and Fail
Wow.
Army. So
what's the skill you have?
Being able to watch viral videos until your eyes bleed.
Oh my God! Is that what you had to do? You're like on YouTube morning to night, or everything gets sent in. You just have to watch it one at a time. Load up this one. Load up that one. Load up this one.
I've had many different jobs across the industry, but yeah, basically being able to recognize when a piece of user-generated content might have value to the greater world,
right,
and how to package these things together in order to make a product out of it.
All right, so every once in a while, do you come off, is there some stuff on there that is like, oh my God, that is so fucking funny, but there's no way I can do it because that guy's dead now? You know, is there any of that you'd ever come across? Like shit that was like, holy fuck, this is way interesting or funny or shockingly, whoa. But it's too, oh my God, that head's rolling right there and all that blood splattering. Or the screaming of the mother when the baby's getting electrocuted. But oh, so funny crawling. You know what I mean? Was there any ever something like that shit that you would come across?
Absolutely. I mean, if you understand the population of the country and the world we're in,
yeah,
people are recording everything.
Do you have PTSD, dude? Do you have PTSD?
You know, I've been out of work for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And really, it's been lovely to not be exposed to any type of content that I don't willingly have to consume. So,
what's generally the worst things you've ever come across? Just, you don't have to say specific descriptions, but were there murders? Was there pedophilia? Was there animal abuse? Was it all of it?
I mean, you know, there's animal abuse in anything, depending on who you ask.
Yeah. But some animal abuse is pure, like, wow, that's a psychopath doing that.
Yeah, and luckily, you know, there are different, depending on where you're at, there are different, you know, levels of you know, reviewing that sort of stuff. So, I mean, I've seen some things that I don't particularly like. Like, before I worked in this industry, I would, you know, love to watch the World Star, and like I love, you know, watching like street
fighting.
fights. And then eventually, you know, there's only so many times you can watch someone get knocked unconscious before you're just sick to your stomach.
Yeah,
So,
I don't watch that either. That's the same level of beheading videos. I do not watch it because it makes you sad for humans that they... It's not good because that's bad. He's kicking him while he's sleeping. No.
Yeah.
Why?
But no, there's been some, you know, in all of the different places I've worked with, you know.
Really, like, some level of that
this
shit.
Seems like, yeah, and I will say all of the places that I've worked, like if something ever seems amiss, if this doesn't look right, you know,
doesn't lead. It's not leading up somewhere good. That little kid's going to that house with that clown. I don't think this is going to be a good video.
Yeah, but you know, there is a level of responsibility there when you're exposed to that stuff to make sure that if people feel like authorities need to be involved, like.
Did you have to?
I personally did not, but I have worked at places where it's like, yes, this video looks bad. We need to let somebody know.
You know, that's a law. If you ran across something like that and you didn't report it, you could pay a big steep price for that.
Yeah, I mean,
you're complicit is the way the law looks.
99% of things, it's, you know,
of course,
the kid gets hit by a ball and falls down, but it's, you know, very rarely do you get something, you know, or it's a lot of like people just shooting 15 minutes of their bathroom floor. And,
yeah, like what's the funny part coming up? And you've just wasted 20 minutes.
It is never coming up. Yeah, that's one thing you realize when you work at all these different platforms is people, you know, they're a fan of the show, they're a fan of the channel, they want to be on it, and they think, you know, your friend is the funniest, your friend, you know, because that's why people enjoy user-generated content to some degree. We can all relate to it.
Yeah.
And because it's my friend in the video, it is hilarious when really it's like, this has happened, 5,000 times
Right.
today, just this morning.
Yeah,
So,
this is the 10,000. You ring a bell every 10,000 nut kicks. The 10,000 nut kick. Ding, ding. Oh, good. It's already been 20 minutes. We've hit 10,000.
Yeah, I think you can fit a 800 or at least probably 500 nut hits in a 10-minute video. I think that's
yeah.
We did that.
Clap.
It all runs together at the end of the day. I mean, some shows are more PG, some shows are more PG-13, but
no, I like Fail Army
new.
has a theme. The Ridiculous has at least the talkies host couchy people.
Yeah.
And but so now that you're not doing anything, what do you want to do? Like, what now, since we're in this weird time and you're in this kind of limbo? Where's your eye of Sauron looking? Are you just trying to get any job, or are you going, I want to focus on this?
It's tough.
There's a certain desperation.
I'm not feeling that desperation at this point in time, and I'm lucky enough to have a pretty good network.
Good. I like that.
Yeah, I think, at least for me personally right now, is one of my goals is to eventually leave Los Angeles.
Okay.
So
now's
really,
a good time, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not terribly.
You're missing the boat.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not the only one. Last year was the first year in decades when more people left the state of California than came in. So
you're thinking, well, since everybody's leaving, it's almost like I just moved here. So
yeah, right.
It looks like I'm hitting the top of the list.
Well, it's just like there's no point in living here when you can't do anything. And
we're gonna do Star Wars 8. Look, why don't we get Ken? He's still in town. All right, Ken.
Yeah.
Can you be Obi?
Yeah. So I think I'm just kind of looking forward to what that next chapter is geographically in my life. And honestly, while I don't know if you or your listeners would like to hear, I think you don't always have to get paid from your creative pursuits. And also, there are ways to be creative outside of, getting up on a stage and talking to a microphone.
Right.
I think for me right now, at least in the very short-term interim, I'm excited to have some time off to donate my time to, causes and people that desperately need help at this point in time.
That's cool.
I think, will be nice to have some free time to give to other folks.
Right. No, that's the ultimate, if you really want to do things in times of, we'll say, desperation or depression or malaise or melancholy, whatever you want to say, whatever we're going through, psychological wavelengths shifting.
It's all of it.
One of the best solutions, one of the best life hacks to get you to get a fire burning in your soul again is to actually help other people and figure out how to do that. Like, if you could get a job that helps other people, like you get paid the living wage. Let's do $18 an hour. Come on, I want to smile too, right? So at least $18 an hour. I'm gonna say that if I have any salary negotiations, they'll come out with me a number, and I'll say, "Hey, look, I want to smile too." Yeah, right? Just something. This number is not making me smile. Yeah, if you're able to be in the green a little bit every month, that should make you smile, and then not worry that there's some hellhole of health thing that's going to suck everything into the red, into the deepest, darkest depression. But helping other people, that's a really, 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 really smart thing, buddy. Yeah, and I like that you referred to it as a life hack because, and I don't know what the study is, but it has been proven that when you help other people, when you volunteer, it makes you. It's a selfish thing to do. It makes you feel good. Right. So, right. If more people would get that, where it's it can be a type of drug. So right. We need what this world needs really right now, just as across the board. War of the Worlds level alien invasion. with their same weakness, something we could get rid of them, that we don't annihilate everybody. There's going to be a lot of people are going to go, but we need to get to that level of cooperation. Maybe fight them off for about 8 to 10 years till we're like solidly, all right, I got your back, even though you did vote for Trump back 10 years ago. We're cool. We're over that now. To that point, then we kill them all, and then we get back to, structuring society as a way of calling it a real society and others and, people.
Yeah. But I love that idea, but again, that's still humanity needing an other to be against in order to come together, which is like
I can think of no other way. You have some better solution? What do you think? Everybody should take shrooms on one day? Everybody's going to do that? We all take shrooms?
As opposed to fighting bug aliens?
7 billion hits of shroom. Instead of the cure for COVID, it's actually a shroom mixture, and everybody gets a shot, and we all fucking work it out.
You have to stagger it. Just, people, you got to have the essential workers still out there. You can't have, somebody pulling down their pants while they're stocking a shelf.
Well, other than doing that, alien invasion. And here's my theory. I'm hoping that they do find life on Mars. They reveal there's an underground thing going on. These guys have been preparing for this day for like the last 10,000 years. And now all their ships are coming, and they're the aliens that attack us from Venus. Oh no, it was so hot there. Nobody could, they did. So anyways, they get here, but they're, vulnerable to, of course, water. It's got to be water in a glass, right? Signs, hello. So anyways, or like the ocean with salt water, whatever. Something big that gets them the fuck out of here. And then we can, figure shit out.
I appreciate your vision. I think anything sounds better than what we see in the very immediate next couple of months of future. But
or Jesus comes back and he uses some kind of God power to lock into all of our brains in the believing part and say this is real, and oh yeah, this is what he wants us to do now, and let's all be friends. Unless that happens, he comes down and somehow he tweets out, and everybody somehow soaks the tweet, and it gets into your brain. I don't know what it's going to take. He's God. He'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'd be happy to see either Jesus or aliens. At least it would probably shift the news cycle 3 or 4 days away from everything else. So that would be a benefit.
True. Just going on what we started here, I think if Trump truly does get another 4 years, I think by year 3 we will have forgotten about 9/11. People would never forget. I think the 3rd year into the 2nd term of Trump will be the day we forgot. Oh, wait, what? We were too busy eating Soylent Green.
Yeah, if you're stacking death tolls, we've got a couple of 9/11s this year.
Oh, dude. Yeah, it's the invisible 9/11s happening. Mm-hmm. Too much. But what I want to get out and leave this on is that I like what you're doing. You're helping people, and you're on that path. And so then what you want to do is find the thing that you can somehow help people and make a living at that thing that you love. And if you can get that kind of job, then you could spend a lot of your off time on creativity activities. And since now is the age of digital, and you figure out how you get, or if you have to get with other people or find another link, you figure it out, and then you could, right from that space that you are at, be doing things that you also like creatively. And then once everything's the all clear sounded, we all go outside, no masks, and then you go on to the next level. Yeah, so it's those things we got to think about.
Yeah. For me, what's always been important is making people laugh. That doesn't happen. It doesn't have to happen from a stage. It can happen out in the real world. So
and you're helping people. When you make somebody laugh, you're helping them forget about their issues and problems. And everybody's got issues and problems right now. 7 billion people on the planet got something going on.
I would like to think
and
so.
And laughter is the small breaks in between all that heavy, soupy depression bullshit.
I know as a retired stand-up comedian, there have been times when I have been very appreciative of a laugh that either came from a TV show or a written piece or out in the world that you didn't realize that you really needed that in that moment.
Right.
So that you can be the vehicle of that in any format.
Right.
Or environment.
One of the reasons I do fuck around a lot when I talk to you, it's not like a traditional interview and stuff. I do try and find the funny with no matter who I'm talking with, and sometimes it goes awry, but other times it's just like, yeah, why not? Even if we're talking serious stuff, why can't you get a brain break for a second and be able to handle what's going on? And that's what I kind of see this as. So me talking to you right now in the now has been this, hour and a half has been like, awesome. What a great day this was. I didn't think about what's going on out there, over there, da. And it was this. So totally hyper-focused right in on you. But also, if somebody's watching this down the road, and I hope they get the same kind of thing, but if somebody's watching it down the road, maybe we're talking about something boring or something heavy, but there's still always some funny or weird perspective to see, or if they can follow along with the bouncing ball like that. So that's kind of the goal of what I'm doing with this. So it's kind of a way of making people laugh if they can sit through an hour and a half and find one or two.
I love it. Well, I mean,
you never know. You never know.
If you're trying to teach people history, following a bouncing ball is a big part of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so this is, I guess overall, if you looked at it as a big whole, this is a very ADHD type podcast because we've been talking a lot about a lot of shit.
Well, as soon as I came on, you asked me about 9/11, which I was expecting a hello, but I love this. I love the style.
Yeah, no, I just figured it was early, and I'm sure everybody's got a story about that or something, and so I just thought I'd celebrate 9/11 with this tale.
Yeah, that's great. Well, yeah, I don't know what the COVID equivalent will be. Where were you when we got the vaccine, but 48% of the people decided not to take it, so it's like it didn't exist anyway?
Once again, it's the propaganda, man, and that's what the sad thing is, that we're so vulnerable to that. Like us as human beings are so vulnerable to those things. And
we love stories, and the simpler the story, the better sometimes.
But we also want to feel good about ourselves. We want to feel like just a sense of pride or betterness. Sometimes it comes out as, but everybody wants to feel not afraid of everything in the world, and then there's a machine out there that's making people afraid of everything in the world, and so their knee-jerk reaction is to go with the fighty thing that's going to use a flamethrower to burn all the fear away. But the funny thing, he keeps turning the flamethrower back on them, and there's a whole bunch getting burned to death right in front of them. But they justify it because he tripped or stumbled, and he just looked the wrong way, and that CNN guy did that because, whatever.
Yeah, a flamethrower is a really apt analogy and very scary because there is,
it is a flamethrower.
That back into the bottle.
Goes all over. As a person with ADHD myself and studying it for the last 5-6 years because I got it, and it's fascinating because I can't believe I got it, is you really see those aspects on the guy who's actually running it. It's the way his mind's going, and I could see that thought. No, I could see the way he's talking. Oh, I know why he said that thing because that kind of connects to this thing. Oh yeah, I could see his like, yeah, that's some ADHD shit that I could do. I could totally, but you could see the way it goes with him. So you go like, oh no, that's not good. That's not good. Because if you just let it go, your ADHD, it's not very good at history ultimately, and it's not very good at. It's very good for the now. That. It's not good for the future. It's not good for the past, but it's good for the now. Yeah. And the kind of president we have is, for him, good for the now for him, and he likes to fight because something happened to him when he was a little kid, and it was horrible.
Not a planner. Not a planner.
No, and he's a slave to his mental differentness. He's a slave to it. We all are, but he's just a flagrant slave.
But most of us aren't putting ketchup on our steaks, so I feel like we have more of a leg to stand on.
Right. Well, yeah. So, anyways, it's very interesting these days. And I'm very glad that you're helping people. And so now that you're on this, well, let me call it like the end, and then we could do another one some other day, and I'll promise not to be so shot out of a fucking cannon again, because it happens to me all the time, because I haven't seen you and talked to you, and I'm very excited. And so I just get very shot out of a cannon. I apologize. So the next one you can talk, and you interview me.
No, I love it. It's great.
But I'm very happy that that's where you're going. I love it, even though you're out of work and stuff like that, and you're in California, which is... Gee whiz, man, it's a great state. It's just going through some times. Some times. There's a lot of opportunity to help, so you're good to stay there because they're going to need a lot of help, and they need a lot of laughs, so you got to parlay that into a way that you're taking people away from their, one less second thinking about suicide is a helpful thing, and that's what I hope you're doing and thinking of to give to other people,
At the least, 1 second.
Yeah, if you can take 1 second out, and then you know what? From there you can get 2 seconds, and then sometimes you might build it up to 6 or 7 seconds. And if you're really good, they won't think about suicide anymore. That's your goal.
Well, I hope you don't lose listeners from this, because
sorry.
This has been hopefully many seconds of people not thinking about it.
So here's what I'm going to have to do at the front of this, in the description. I'm going to be putting a suicide hotline.
I think that's great.
I give it a warning, look, I'm trying to find the funny, and sometimes I do not think about the real, PC thing of what I'm just saying. I'm just going off of the word and the whatever.
I think that makes sense, especially because it's been pretty jovial throughout, and just at the very, not that we haven't touched on the reality of the world, but just the last bit.
It is wild. Just going on a serious note, if we want to go to that, wow, it's amazing how much this stress is like. There's a line crossing with that. It's such a line to cross in my mind of what that is, and it's happening so much, dude. Right now.
Yeah, I would agree. I think I've always been a happy-go-lucky, optimistic person.
Right.
I've very much turned off my social media. I had baby's first panic attack a couple weeks ago, and that was a real what you are consuming with your eyes is hurting your body and brain. Just a lot of bad out there, and you can easily get wallowed in it.
I know exactly how to go out. So exactly where you're getting at. So being a person who's watched all these videos, you've seen all kind of things from the funniest, loveliest, cutest to the, oh my God, why did they even think to send that to us? God damn it. Seeing all that for over and over and over, and knowing what you know about what you know, and being a person who now is off the internet, what is kind of your advice in these times of a propaganda onslaught on all sides, because things are being left out left and right, and shit is getting very outraged, so to speak, in this day and age. So what's some good advice to avoid that you think is a real thing people can do?
I think this is, I will give you two different of the same answer. I think reading a history book, go like non-current, like there's a million books written about the last 3 presidents,
to kind of find comfort in history in a way. Know that you're not so unique that everything, or just know something.
And while I think it can be frustrating if you observe that we are repeating history again, especially the mistake parts of it, the fact that people have lived through similar things before, I think can potentially be comforting.
Right.
And then
as a history guy, just on this point, really just a quick recommendation. If you really want to get what's going on with the leader of the country, I think you have to go all the way back to Caligula, because if he wins another 4 years, that's going to be there's going to be a horse in the Senate. For sure.
Yeah. Well, I would maybe go more,
further than Nixon. Go back
with Cthulhu. I don't know where Cthulhu lands under.
Now you're at the alien invasion theme that I got going on. Very good. Very good. Yes, Cthulhu.
But Yeah, and I think sometimes playing. I mean, again, you don't want to get sucked in the internet. Playing some Wikipedia roulette and learning about something new. Like
Oh, okay.
you know, there is a battle of, or a massacre of, you know, hundreds of different things that are just in this country alone that we don't talk about.
Right.
And when people lose their lives for a reason or no reason, you know, they get framed in different ways. That there's a friend of mine is posting things just not like uncovered gems. Basically, here are huge moments in history that we never talk about and we never know.
What, slavery?
You know, there are people that didn't know who John Lewis was until he died.
Right.
So I think to expose yourself to something that you have no sort of frame of reference for is important.
Okay.
Again, because history is repeating itself to a degree, and potentially we can hopefully learn from that and change it in the future. And otherwise, yes, get outside, volunteer your time towards something that is not screaming at people outside of an abortion clinic.
Yeah, no, yeah, bad. Yes, help people that truly are, there's so much that you can do in so many different ways. You just got to think outside the box sometimes. But on that, on the thing, the kind of running thing for me is this propaganda thing. If you really want to learn about propaganda, you should find a DVD or somehow rent the full version of, oh my God, I'm having a mind block of the name. Oh my God. D.W. Griffith directed. It's in black and white. It's 3.5 hours long. Birth of a Nation. If you watch Birth of a Nation, you want to know how propaganda. So before Birth of a Nation, there was like couple 100,000 all over the place. Maybe under 100,000, maybe even KKK people. After that movie, millions did a march on Washington years later after that movie. That movie was, as far as propaganda goes, amazeballs.
Yeah.
The beginning part, it's a perfect thing of propaganda. As a teacher, I'll just give you the aspects. You look at the first hour, and the first hour is all true things that happen and really realistic Civil War scenes and the most amazing footage. Oh my God, this is the Star Wars of the day. That kind of big, like, whoa. Second hour, you get into, things are getting murky. People are doing stuff, and there's all of a sudden stuff happening that's odd, and all of a sudden there's this through line. This guy wants to rape this lady, and that starts coming up like, oh, I'm distracted by this guy wanting to rape this lady. The lady's white, he's black, he wants to rape her, and clearly that's going on. And then in the third hour, it's pure propaganda. The KKK saves the day. They are the great ones sent from God. Everything's better. The whole town's better. All the lawmakers are better. They're cowering in fear of them. And the spirit of our ancestors and their ghosts are smiling down from a cloud. And they're the most, and oh, wow, you saved us from the black guy who's going to be rapist. You saved us from those black guys that are in the Senate drinking alcohol and kicking over and putting their feet on the table and wrestling with each other, and the KKK. And by the end of that film, as a propaganda tool, it was like a quick 3.5 hour. Like, you'd want to, if you were a white person back then seeing that, you go, hey, we got to get some sheets quick. Let's go to the store before they run out. There's going to be a line of people getting the sheets next to the movie theater. Over here, linen or us, quickly, get your bed sheets. Whoa, we're running low.
Well, now it seems like with the memification of everything, there's just every day there is 1,000 births of nations.
It's happening. A tornado. 1,000 9/11s are happening. Well, it's not 1,000, but there's like a 9/11 every 3 days. You know, like, oh my God, he did that. No. Oh my God, they did this. Yeah. And oh my God, he's dead. No. And all that kind of thing. And the big number and the it's all hitting at once. And I mean, do you believe in God?
I would say I believe in a metaphysical, spiritual energy. I would I
Yeah.
personally identify with like a more a Native American style of, what I don't want to bastardize, and I don't know everything about it as I'm not a
More
Native
pagan
American, but
style, sun, moon, wind, trees.
just to a certain degree. I mean, I respect nature, and I think what they saw as religion was a lot of times science, and I think there is a beauty in all living things.
Mother Nature, the worship of Mother Nature and her wild ways.
I would say I fall in there. Yeah, I think that's where we came from as a species, and getting further away from that, I think, is harmful for us as a human population and the earth that we're living on. So
yeah, we do have the power to change it as a unit.
There is a divine nature to all things, I believe.
Yeah, that is true. There is true. I do believe that. I do. There's a kind of a truth to that movie Avatar, with the roots of the trees and the people and the things. There's kind of a truth, an underlying truth. But there's that nature is like the trees are literally giving us stuff to breathe. Like if we get rid of a lot more of them, breathing not good. And that's what's happening. Our lungs are burning right now of the earth.
Yeah.
And that's a true thing.
Do you do an Avatar reference in every episode?
No. It's just I like creativity and science fiction, and it was a very creatively
it was
science fiction movie.
Kind of a Native American story, or
absolutely,
it's
absolutely.
the blue dances with wolves, which dances has its own problems.
Totally.
But,
no, I think you're on the right path. I think you are onto what's real, and I like that. That is the most real answer I've heard so far.
Well, thank you. It was an absolute lie. Southern Baptist all the way. I don't know how you get to Southern Baptist without being Southern, but
yeah.
No,
you are that thing that you just said.
I'm like any good Catholic, raised Catholic person. You throw that off pretty quickly if you think about it a little bit. Right,
because it's so man-made when you really look under the surface. It's so man-made, dude. Just get to know. No psychology and see, oh, dude, because of the Old Testament, dude. Oh my God, dude, those guys were raw. They were fucking raw.
I think, me finding God in a rock makes more sense than a lot of that stuff. So
yeah, that's awesome. Dude.
There's some nice rocks.
There are some nice rocks, and they're pretty to look at, and you should take a picture and post it on Facebook.
Yeah.
But don't forget to get yourself in that rock, because you might need it for a promo shot. So
absolutely.
You never know. Don't give up the dream. So I want you to keep being funny out there and keep helping out people and stay cool. And I will contact you more about this stuff. And let's be in contact a little more as just human beings.
That sounds
Texts
great.
every once in a while are no problem. And you could cold call me with any issue ever of anything, good or bad, just for the heck of it. You could drunk dial me, but just, don't be too wacky.
I'm on the West Coast, so if I drunk dial, it's usually easier for people to the east of me. So
I know we'll never talk again for another decade, but still, the offer's out there that we would.
But I think the important thing is learning from this whole being apart from everybody is that even if we haven't spoken with each other, there are still good memories and there are still good associations. And
yes, you're a good person.
The time that we shared, it was in the past, and besides what we're sharing now, but there was a piece of me and you and me, and vice versa with all of your guests, but only the guests of this show.
Right. You're in the family of this thing now. And the whole reason I would even talk to you is I just know that you're just a good person. So no matter what we were talking about, I knew it would just be good person stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, absolutely. I don't know how interesting my life is at this stage of the game, but if somebody gets something out of it besides the two people sitting here thousands of miles apart, then this is where you put up
the show is
suicide awareness.
Right. Maybe you're right. Oh, I'll edit that in. I gotta practice editing things in. So I'm gonna when the suicide thing when I mention it, I'm gonna try and put it on there, and then I'll flash it.
Space. Editing. See if you can. I'm just giving you editing tricks to learn.
Okay, move it.
Spin
Yeah, do it like Fail Army.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I can hook you
some
up with
wacky-
a 20-year-old that could figure that out in 2 seconds.
Oh boy. All right. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm gonna write that down. Suicide. Yeah, this will be. Even though we didn't really talk about, we just messed with it, and I'll apologize for being so un-PC about that thing. But god dang it, sometimes we compartmentalize in our brains, and you just think about the one thing, and you don't think about the consequence or whatever, and you're like, oh shit.
No,
I was just seeing the jokes.
No, it's
not
so
thinking.
good to talk to somebody that isn't my mail carrier. So I'm so happy you invited me on.
Yeah, good. Well, I like the path you're on, and I want you to keep following that. Follow that, and just keep being creative and keep dreaming on that, because you are in California, and there is so many cool things that, I mean, you're alive in this time. There's so many things, and people are hungering for laughs, and if you could find your formula somehow, some way, man, that's just, you're going to be helping people, and you're going to be enjoying what you're doing, you know.
Well, that's the plan. Give back and enjoy life.
There you go. That's what this episode's. Give back, enjoy life, says Ken
Kill
Barnard.
yourself.
Ken Barnard. All right, well, just real quick, your last name's German. Mine's kind of German, too. I know it's also French and British, and you have some Jewishness, Barnard's. And basically, it means bear hard. So basically, you're a hard bear. That's
Yes, sir.
your kind of family name. My name is Bodecker, which is basically tub and then finisher, and I'm a guy who glazes tubs. That's where my name's from, so I'm more of a Cooper. But yeah, man, thanks for talking to me. Thanks for going on the wildness, and I hope, yeah, you said you liked it, so
Yeah, it was fun.
I don't need to let my low self-esteem talk me out of the good time we had for the last 2 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate it. There's so much more and stuff. I would like to talk to you maybe one day. I'm thinking about doing a kind of a Steve-O special. And, maybe some awesome stories about the awesomeness that was Steve-O. Because you knew him from...
Yeah, I would love that. Yeah, we went... I won't get into it, but yeah, I think some of my favorite memories of him were we did the tour in the UK together with us and Cal Kinane. And
Wait a minute, you did the tour of what?
We went to the UK with Mark Geary and toured up and down the Emerald. I guess not.
All right, I'm writing it down.
Write that down.
So you have stories from that? Let's talk about... Yeah. Let's trade stories next time. I got some Steve-O stories that you might not know, some canoe trip ones, some decent ones, all different flavors, because the cool thing about Steve-O is, well, I don't know if this is for other people, but he made me feel like I was his best friend, and I get the sense that he made most people feel like they were his best friend, because he was so in the moment with you and very genuinely joyful when you were around, said something funny or wanted to entertain you. He was just that kind of guy that made it feel like, oh man, this is my best friend right here.
Yeah, I mean, it goes hand in hand. He was a big heart and a good hugger.
Heck yeah.
I think that embodied him to some degree.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. All right, man. But anyway, this is about you, Ken. Thanks, man. Yeah. Sometimes I don't know how to end these things.
That's okay.
How do we end them?
Yeah.
End it like this?
It's this, yeah. And, is it really the end?
No, it isn't. So I'll keep contact with you, and then let's do another one and do a big ping pong storytelling show.
Yeah, I would love that. That sounds fun.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Little anecdotes, bing bang. Stuff you actually remember.
Cool. I'll try to dig up all my old 9/11 memories that I repressed.
Yeah, all that stuff you've forgotten. Never forget, buddy. All right.
I didn't follow the bumper stickers.
All right, but yeah, feel free to once again, though anything you want to say to me or anything. Okay, this does sound like a desperate plea at the end. Gosh, that sounds weird. I'll edit this part out.
I've had a good time. I will just if I can I plug one thing?
Go.
Okay. So I'll just plug Hydrate LA on Instagram. I think it's also on Facebook. And Walk Good LA are two organizations I volunteer with. Hydrate LA, you can donate to if you see fit. Basically, they provide support services, snacks, bottled water, first aid to various marches and protests around the LA area. And then Walk Good LA is a weekly protest march yoga session. They do a lot of good social justice work out in the community.
Yoga?
So, yes.
They're going to protest and down dog?
Well, you know, when you protest, it's a stressful time. So the next day, you gotta let it out and come to your center. So
that is awesome, dude. That is some kind of like Gandhi level stuff. You know, you gotta meditate. You gotta stretch your body.
You gotta put your mask on before the kid next to you. So.
Pay attention to your temple, dude. Your temple. If it needs to wear a mask, it needs to wear a mask. You need to stretch. You need to stretch, and you also need to think about things. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That is so good.
Yeah. So I will leave your listeners with that if they want to check those out. They do good stuff out here on the West Coast. So.
Yeah. You send me links, and I'm also going to put it up in the description in the YouTube page.
Cool.
I was very excited to talk to you. I hope, I don't know what I expect on these things. Sometimes in my mind, I'm like, oh, it wasn't funny. Or what, it's all that negative shit. I just won't listen to those voices, but thank you, man. Thank you.
Absolutely.
It's good to know.
I had no expectations either, but it was lovely to chat and catch up.
Yeah. We talk like real people. I don't think we talk like really people much. We were always in that comedy thing, and you were always kind of like, we had to one-up each other and stuff.
Yes.
So we never really talked down it. Maybe a little teeny bit, but nothing extensive like this.
Yeah, for sure.
And, so I'm looking to evolve. These are the first shows, so we can make mistakes now. And the next show we make is going to be, you're going to talk for the right amount of time. I'm going to listen. It'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, man. Ken?
Yeah.
We love you. You have good internet. We talk soon again.
Yeah, thank you, Darren. Love you, and
thank you, man.
My best to everybody.
All right, that was the show. I hope that it was okay. I liked it. It was a good time escape. And maybe I'll make this more podcasty soon. Just gotta, right now I'm still in the getting content mode, so I need to now expand my ways. So many things talked of. Did we get anywhere? I don't know. Did we truly make the world a better place? I think that's impossible. But can you make yourself better by listening to this? It's possible. There are ideas out there that have been spoken already on this, Searching for Wisdom Within the Madness. There's wisdom out there. You just gotta move fast and pick them. There it is. I can apply that. That's smart. All right. Well, much love. And, these are weird times, and I don't mean to speak flippantly about what I spoke about at the very end there. It's just so scary to me, and don't we laugh sometimes at things that scare us? Didn't y'all laugh when you saw Friday the 13th for the first time? Wasn't Jaws a big laugh fest because you were scared of the shark and you just laughed and laughed as the guy's being eaten? Don't we laugh at the things we fear? Isn't that everybody? Didn't we all laugh when the bully was beating us up? Because it was so scary, it was funny. Don't you all laugh at the scariest things? When somebody jumps out at you in the alley, it's dark, and then you're like just laughing, you're guffawing, fall to the floor, can't breathe because you're laughing so much and they shot you. Wouldn't that when the Batman, when his mom and dad were laughing really much, and he was like, why are you laughing? And then he starts laughing, and the Joker kills his mom and dad. And then the Joker doesn't laugh. The irony. Oh well. This has been Search for Wisdom Within the Madness. Now back to the now. Or should I just say madness? Back to the now. Thank you. Good night, everybody. See you later. Hasta la vista. Bienvenue. Jean te le bras, toujours. Ah, yes.